this series of priorities. So I'm going to start with one and then we'll go back to the other one. This one is our area economy has experienced a serious downturn with home foreclosures, declining property values, postponement of commercial projects, and rising unemployment. This likely will lead to lower city revenues over the next 2 years. What categories of city expenditures would you reduce? And are there areas in which you believe revenues can be increased? And we'll begin with Mr. Newton.
As bad as the economy is right now, we're going to have to cut on every department. You don't pick on just one department. Every department's going to have to take a cut. It's just the way things are. In your own homes right now, we're all taking cuts. You may not go out to dinner but once a week or once a month, and before you may go out 3 and 4 times a week. The same thing with the city. We're going to have to cut. I don't say it's fat, but some of the things that we may have to get rid of, or not really get rid of, but change. We have police cars all the police officers get. We may have to look back on how far some of these police officers go. If they go out of the county, can't happen. If they go over 25 or 50, 40 miles, maybe that's not a place to be. Too much wear and tear and too much of our tax dollars going into that. Leisure services, some of the programs that we have that are not being well used, they might have to be cut. Community services, we have to look at that and see what's going on in the permitting department, because if it's less permits going on, maybe we don't need the full staff that we have. But you know what? There is change coming, but we have to work hard, and we'll work hard together. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fiore.
Thank you. We've become accustomed to a lot of luxuries in Wilton Manors that have made the city so enjoyable as one of the reasons why we live here. Unfortunately, we're probably going to have to look at cutting some of those luxuries. Some of the festivals and stuff that we have might not have to be as big, or some that are not well attended, eliminated. As Scott said, every department is going to be scrutinized and gone under with a scalpel and cut. There's no way around it. I think as far as revenues, we need to look at parking revenues and other sorts of revenues. One of the things we need to look at is for a new police contract that will be coming up, a garbage contract, to see if we can get the prices down on those to help save the taxpayers some money. It's not going to be an easy job, but I promise you I will be very diligent. I remember when we had this back in the early 90s, we had the same problem, and I have the experience to do that, and we'll do it.
Thank you, Mr. Fiore. Ms. Carson.
I don't necessarily believe that we have to cut. However, what I do believe first and foremost is that we have got to streamline our government and make sure that we are the most efficient in what we do. First, and again, the Commission has already begun to look at a number of these issues. Cost effectiveness of our contractual obligations. We need to look at the contracts, as John mentioned earlier, to make sure that the benefits provided in the contracts and the level of risk to the city, the benefit provided in the contract is great and the level of risk to the city is small. Along this line, and probably hand in hand with both reduction of expenses and increase of revenue, is retention of a rate consultant. It's really critical that the city have its rates, its fees for all services looked at by an adequate rate consultant who can compare the rates of our city and determine whether or not we need to bundle services, whether or not we need to cancel services, or prioritize services to meet our residents.
Thank you.